4,200 acres, and we have 700 firefighting personnel assigned. Because of the great work of the firefighters that were on scene, we have only a minimal number of homes destroyed. However, I do not have the exact number to give your viewers. Thankfully, we have no reports of serious injuries or fatalities, and this fire is not contained, and we remain under an immediate threat because of the red flag conditions. The current red flag alert is projected to continue through Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. for strong winds and low humidities. And the cause of the fire is unknown at this time, but it is under active investigation by the Los Angeles County Fire and Sheriff's arson investigators. Lastly, I'd like to acknowledge and thank our partners, both fire and law enforcement, for their assistance this morning. We certainly couldn't do it without them. And one request from Waterworks District 29 and the Department of Public Works is to ask residents that are not in the immediate fire area to please turn off their sprinklers. We are currently monitoring our water pressure. We do have personnel on scene. That water should be used for firefighting and not to sprinkle or irrigate your lawns. And it's going to be of little use from having a brush fire start near your home. Next up, I'd like to ask our Los Angeles County Sheriff, Robert Luna, to come up and give the law enforcement update. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and good morning to all of you, and thank you for covering this very important event. The Sheriff's Department has been coordinating with our local, state, and fire partners and the County Office of Emergency Management to monitor the Franklin fire, which started in Malibu Canyon Road, north of Malibu Crest Road, and south of Francisco Ranch Road. We currently have well over 150 personnel, including our Malibu Search and Rescue, that are assisting with this fire incident. We currently have 18 operations that include evacuations, road closures, and security patrols. 9 of those missions are completed, and 9 of them are still ongoing. For current closures, there are several road closures in the affected area. There is a soft closure on Las Virgenes Road at Lost Hills Road. Hard closures at Las Virgenes and Mulholland Highway and on Pacific Coast Highway between Topanga Canyon Boulevard and Canyon Doom Road. Regarding evacuations, a little after midnight, we started multiple evacuation orders and warnings in between Trancas Canyon and the west to Topanga Canyon Boulevard and everything south of Mulholland Highway to Pacific Coast Highway. There are approximately 18,000 people and 8,100 structures in the affected area. Of the 8,100 structures, 2,043 structures are under evacuation orders and 6,046 are under evacuation warnings. And I just want to throw something out to our residents that's critical. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate when a deputy or another official comes to your door, or you get a notification that there is a warning or specifically an order you need to evacuate. It saves lives, and it actually impacts the lives of our first responders, because if they have to come in to save a life, they're putting their own lives at risk, which we're willing to do, but please, the residents are doing an amazing job thus far, and I just want to say thank you to all of them. With evacuations continuing, Pepperdine University has a shelter-in-place order for approximately 800 students. Fires can be extremely unpredictable, and we highly encourage residents in the fire areas to be prepared to heed our evacuation warnings, gather all important items, documents, medications, and in case you need in case you need to leave your residence immediately. Very important. The safety of our community members is our #1 priority, and we will continue to assist all impacted residents as they are waking up this morning, and whether they're in need of any kind of assistance, even directions, we're here to help you. In regards to shelters that we're using, we have several shelters that have been established for the residents that are displaced. Pacific Palisades Recreation Center at 851 Alma Real Drive in Pacific Palisades. For small animals, the Agora Animal Shelter on 29525 Agora Road in Agora Hills. For large animals, Pierce College at 6201 Winnetka Avenue in Woodland Hills. The fire chief talked about damage. Unfortunately, we did have one black and white patrol car from our Santa Clarita Sheriff's Station that was damaged in the fire. Thank God the deputy was not injured. We are very appreciative of the collaborative efforts. If you look around me, this is a team effort, whether it's all the different agencies on the fire side, the different agencies on the police side. I can't thank the California Highway Patrol enough for a lot of the road closures that are taking place. But again, as I close here, I do urge our residents to stay informed. Stay informed by watching or following credible news sources, like most of you. Visit our Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department social media or lacounty.gov/emergency for updated information. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to introduce Kevin McGowan, our Director of Office of Emergency Services for Los Angeles County.
Thank you, Sheriff. Our heart goes out to all those that have been impacted by this wildland fire. I also want to say thank you to the residents, as the sheriff said, but also to all of our field responders and our emergency operations center responders. The county's emergency organization went into its full activation at the onset of the forecast, well before the fire actually started. We saw the significance from the National Weather Service, another great partner during this incident, describing this as a particularly dangerous situation that warranted a really sizable preparedness campaign across the entire county. That continues still at this moment. We still have a lot of risk and threat throughout the county beyond just what's occurring at the Franklin fire. We activated our emergency operations center yesterday at 7 a.m. and it's been activated 24/7 since. It assisted with the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department, along with our partners at the City of Malibu, with all of our alert and warning emergency notifications. I really want to express my gratitude and thanks to the residents for complying with all those emergency notifications. It takes a team effort for us to do effective evacuations, especially when it's nighttime. Lastly, just to echo what the sheriff said, real-time information can be found by visiting our website, lacounty.gov/emergency. And with that, I have the pleasure of introducing the mayor for Malibu, Marianne Riggins.
Thank you, everyone. Marianne Riggins, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Malibu. I want to thank the Los Angeles County Fire Department, our Sheriff's Department, CHP, County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath, and all the agencies that are responding to this incident. Currently, our Malibu City Hall is in the evacuation zone, so our Emergency Operations Center is running out of Calabasas City Hall currently. We do have staff that are monitoring the situation and reporting things out. We want to encourage the residents, please follow all evacuation orders. That is the most important thing. And I also want to thank our local fire brigades for responding to our fire here. Residents should have their Genesis app available to help with emergency evacuation notification. And I want to thank you, everybody, and please introduce County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath.
Good morning. First, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to the first responders who have been working tirelessly through this night and into the morning to protect lives, to protect property, and most importantly, to protect all of our communities. The bravery, skill, and dedication of our firefighters, our law enforcement officers, and emergency personnel, all of it is nothing short of heroic, and we're profoundly grateful for their service. To our residents, your safety is our top priority. Please follow all evacuation orders and instructions from emergency personnel. If you are told to shelter in place, please also shelter in place. These measures are put in place to protect lives, and your cooperation is critical. For real-time updates and emergency alerts, I encourage everyone to visit alertla.org. That's alert, A-L-E-R-T, LA.org, and sign up to stay informed. I want to thank our local, city, and state partners who have stepped up during this critical time. This collaborative effort underscores the strength of our shared commitment to the safety and well-being of our residents. I extend my gratitude to the Los Angeles County Fire Department, the Sheriff's Department, the Office of Emergency Management, and all of our county partners who are working to keep everyone safe. Your coordinated efforts have been essential in managing this crisis and ensuring a swift, effective response. I want to recognize and thank our board chair, Catherine Barger, for her leadership and responsiveness in responding to our request and declaring a local state of emergency. This critical step will allow us to unlock additional resources and expedite recovery efforts for those affected by the Franklin fire. We also thank our governor, Gavin Newsom, for securing additional FEMA assistance, and will continue to stay in close coordination with our state partners to ensure that all impacted areas receive the help that they need. The County of Los Angeles shares a close partnership with our city of Malibu as well as our Topanga community nearby. Especially in these challenging times, we stand ready to provide the support and resources necessary to help the community through this emergency. To those affected by the Franklin fire, please know that we are here for you. We stand with you, and we will stay with you. Thank you again for everyone who is contributing resources to this incident. Your partnership is most appreciated. Thank you very much.
With that, we'd like to open it up to anyone who may have questions for the group.
The air assault overnight, what's changed today as opposed to years past when we couldn't use aircraft to fight a fire like this one?
Well, you know, over time, the LA County Fire Department and our partner agencies, either at CAL FIRE and also the Los Angeles City Fire Department, we've procured more helicopters with night, and our pilots have night vision goggles, so we are now able to bring the fight to the night. We've been doing that for many years, and we also have our quick reaction force that's funded through Southern California Edison. It's the big CH-47 Chinook helicopter. We had 3 of those helicopters on station tonight, and then as the sun rose, you'll see that our CL-415 Super Scoopers that we leased from the province of Quebec are out there dropping, and we're going to have a coordinated ground and air assault. We'd really like to button this fire up and get some containment by this afternoon. I believe that the winds are going to be continuing, so that's going to still create challenges for the fire department and for the LA County Sheriff's Department with evacuations, but rest assured, we are going to have a coordinated air and ground assault on this fire for as long as it takes. Yeah, it is, Pete, like you said. It's very steep terrain. As you come up PCH, you can see where the fire is backing down and being pushed by the wind. We do have enough resources, ground resources on order We do have our dozers, we have our engine companies, we have our Type 3 engine companies, our hand crews. We do have enough resources on order, but I would imagine that over time we're going to grow from maybe 700 firefighters on scene like we have right now to possibly 1,000 or more firefighters. Because of the difficulties in this particular area, time is of the essence for us to grab a hold of the fire and start getting containment.
Are you fighting the clock at this point, though? Because if the winds kick up in the late afternoon and you don't have those containment lines being retarded and cut on the ground, you're going to have problems because you've still got way too much fuel out there.
Yeah, so we could have experienced perimeter growth. We are expecting winds at about 2 o'clock. So we're going to continue the firefight right up through the day and then back into the night. The LA County Fire Department will be here until this fire is 100% controlled.
Sheriff Luna, you might want to step in here. Given that estimation from the chief, what are you thinking about on the idea of repopulation of any of these areas at all? Or is that even on the table?
It's always on the table, but working in unified command with all of our fire partners, we're looking at maps, we're looking at weather conditions. We will not allow the residents to go back until we are assured that they're going to be safe. And then I also want to send out this message for any residents who are evacuated. Our deputies are going to be here, very visible, and don't worry about your homes. Somebody breaking in and taking something. I know that's a lot to ask for, but we have professionals on our department, and we're not going to allow that to happen. And just a message for anyone who's thinking about coming to this neighborhood to do something like that. You're going to get arrested. You're going to get caught. You're going to get arrested. You're going to get prosecuted. Don't do it.
Chief, you mentioned that it was under investigation on arson. Is that standard operating procedure to have that branch of your investigative team in there?
Yeah, that's correct. I gave you the real-time information that I have. We do not know the cause of this fire at 10:50 p.m. last night, but the LA County Fire Department and the LA County Sheriff's Department are going to join forces with our arson investigators because it's going to be critical that we learn why this fire started. And we'll make sure that the news media finds out as soon as we find out.
I'll go for the obvious, chief. Have there been any signs in the area of any downed power lines that might have conceivably have sparked this fire?
Not that I've been told, Pete. Yeah.
How important was this preparation being in place for when this finally occurred? You said you were aware that this special status had been already set up. How vital was it that you were able to do that and sort of be in place and ready to go?
Yeah, great question. It's the utmost importance, right? Preparedness is key as we walk into these dynamic situations. LA County learned a lot in the Woolsey Fire After Action process, and one of the big takeaways was lean forward into these red flag warnings, these particularly dangerous situations. We just had one back in early November. We had the same posture back in that duration event too. This includes upstaffing, significant coordination across all of our county departments and our city partners, and it is critical in us executing our mission, these complex incidents.
Could I have follow-up as far as the fire department placing personnel or getting personnel ready, getting equipment ready? What was done in that sense for this fire?
Yeah, so LA County Fire and the other Southern California fire departments that were under the red flag did have additional crews staffed yesterday and through the night. The Governor's Office of Emergency Services did approve pre-positioning that was compensated for the LA County Fire Department. So we did have additional ground and air resources available to us last night at 10:50, but also our partner agencies that I thanked at the last part of my discussion, the partner agencies as well. We had a very rapid response of mutual aid resources into the Santa Monica Mountains and the Malibu area to assist us with this fire because of those strong winds. Not in the beginning last night. I know that for a portion of time, maybe between 3 and 4 o'clock, our aerial assets did shut down for a while because of the wind speeds, but they are able to operate even with heavy winds, especially the CH-47 and the CL-415s that you see. We will, if it becomes too dangerous for them to drop, we will cut it off, but the minute that those wind speeds subside, we will launch our aircraft once again. But we're going to be here for the duration, and it's going to be a coordinated ground and air assault.
Do you anticipate any change in the wind direction in the course of the day and evening?
I have not had an opportunity to review the spot weather forecast for today, but I have not been advised that we're going to have a change in wind direction. I was told that it's going to remain a wind out of the north through Wednesday evening at 8 p.m.
Regarding maneuverability of choppers overnight, you say you had NVGs, that's fine. Do they compensate for smoke? Or is there a problem there where you have visibility reduced, of course, like you do with NVGs?
Yeah. So NVGs are not going to help us when we get smoked out, and sometimes that's going to cause a reduction in the number of aerial assets that we're deploying, because we have to make sure that we're safe and that we can continue the fight throughout the night. So if we do get smoked out, we will set down until the wind brings the smoke away and then allows us to go back and attack the fire perimeter.
Overnight, when you had those particular points where visibility was less than 200, 300 feet, choppers are coming in at 150. Was it the idea you don't call them in unless you literally need air attack on one point and you're going to lose a house or something like that? That's where they were bringing them in?
Yeah, well, you know what, Pete? I mean, aerial operations are a combination of perimeter control and point structure defense. So we use helicopters and our aircraft for structure defense, but we also use it for perimeter control. But like you brought up earlier, we need boots on the ground. Unsupported helicopter or aircraft drops do not put out the fire. We actually have to put a line around the entire fire, and this fire at 2,200 acres or more has a lot of unsecured fire perimeter.
I know that there's been, especially since Woolsey, more and more kind of search teams, fire brigades across the Malibu area that have been built up, including the program I know that Supervisor Horvath has helped kind of create over the past few years. How crucial have those teams that aren't official firefighters but are search teams, community groups, how helpful and needed have they been over the course of the year?
Well, they've been very helpful, and I believe that they're very needed because it really needs to be a partnership between the community and public service. And the LA County Fire Department was proud to partner with SD3 and Supervisor Horvath to approve the community brigade. It's the first of its kind in the nation. And I actually saw the Malibu community brigade out this morning. So they really bridge that gap between residents and public service. So we appreciate it. We help train them. We make sure that they're safe, but we know that the community appreciates a role in helping protect their community.
Is the community brigade going to continue to be part of this process of fighting the fire?
I certainly hope so. I'm not going to send them home. Yeah.
One follow-up on the positioning, repositioning. Were there extra personnel in Malibu at 10:50 last night ready to move up there?
Yes, there was. And we had additional strike teams. We had additional aircraft out of our Barton heliport. We also had additional aircraft out of our Van Nuys tanker base. Yeah. Because we knew that this event was coming. We knew that it was a particularly dangerous situation from the Weather Service. So that gave us the time to upstaff in preparation. Remember in November, we had the last Santa Ana event. We had the Broad Fire. Shortly after the Broad Fire started, we had the Mountain Fire start in Ventura County, and we went to the aid of our partners in Ventura. So we seem to get one significant wildfire every time we have a strong Santa Ana event in Southern California.
Is this something that's changed in the last 5, 10 years, this approach? Or
Well, I certainly think that global warming is impacting wildfire throughout the United States, and it's making it even more challenging for fire departments to respond to wildfire. It's undeniable, from my perspective, that global warming is causing more challenges for us.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Can you guys repeat how many people
A quick
Give me a
update
second,
on
I'll
this
give you
news
that number
conference that is
right
happening right now, the tail end of it. Fire officials are saying that this is still a very active firefight. Their aerial assets made progress overnight. As we are looking on the right side of your screen at retardant drop right there. Air and ground assault will continue into the day, and this fire's burned more than 2,200 acres. We hope to get some containment by this afternoon. That is what the fire officials said. There are no reports of injuries or fatalities right now, the cause being investigated, and no word on the number of structures that have been damaged or lost. They mentioned that it was a minimal number, but the exact number not clear right now. 700 firefighters on scene, and they will continue the assault throughout the day.
Yeah, right now, zero containment, so still a long way to go. Scott Reif is live in Air 7 with the latest for us. Scott, how does it look?
Well, John, you know, it's laid down rather nicely for the most part because we just do not have those heavy Santa Ana winds. If this was an extreme wind event as forecast, we'd be losing houses, no question about that. But right now the winds are relatively calm. And the fire chief talked about trying to get some type of containment. They're going to get that because of the retardant that is now being dropped. We have several air tankers here. I believe they've released the super scoopers. The air tankers are just so much more effective. There was an MD-87 that just dropped. There's a couple of P-22s out here, and I think we're going to see them hit this edge of the fire, which is the northern edge of the fire, repeatedly with that retardant, which means the fire will have nowhere to go but south. The wind is basically from the north to the south, and there are as many as 800, I believe, I heard, firefighters down in the Malibu area for fire protection, for structure protection, and that type of thing. Off to the right side of your screen, though, one of the concerns I see is I think they're going to stop this fire from spreading further to the west and wrapping back around. Right there, that's Malibu Canyon Road. You can see that there, and you can see Pacific Coast Highway. But right on the top of your screen, that's Pepperdine. We have 800 students that are sheltered in place. If this fire does continue to the west a little bit and then come down that ridge line, there's a lot of fuel. So they're going to make retardant drops there, but that is going to be key. If we give you a wide shot now, you sort of get some perspective of what is burning. That 2,000 plus acres been burning since about 11 o'clock last night. The helicopters have been key. Now, one thing that happens, though, when they do bring in the tankers, they have to move the helicopters out from this northern ridge. They're going to hit the northern and the eastern ridge with the tankers, and they're going to drop the retardant. That's just going to stall the fire out. But they got to release the helicopters from there when they do it. There's an air attack aircraft up here. It's like a ballet. You got to move them to the south side, and then what happens? They move us way north. We've been moved way to the north because of all the scheduling and how you just sort of place those layers. The layer on top is us, below them is the tankers, below them is air attack, and below them are the helicopters. So we've been pushed out pretty far. But what we see right now is somewhat encouraging. We don't see a lot of high winds in the area. It's calm up here at 6,700 feet. It appears to be relatively calm on the ground compared to what you would think of in a severe Santa Ana wind condition. And we're seeing a lot of tankers in the area now. I really think they're going to be extremely effective. So I think the fire chief mentioned they may get some type of containment into the afternoon. It's going to be because of the tankers and, of course, the ground crews. But there's no place for this fire to go when it burns south. They have structure protection down there. A lot of the fuel to the south is already burned. It's the eastern and western flank that they're concerned about, and the tankers are here now, and that's going to have a huge effect.
Scott, that is an encouraging sight to see. Thank you for all of your reporting overnight throughout the morning. Let's check in once more with Eyewitness News reporter Irene Cruz.
Yeah, Rachel, it was really great to learn from that press conference that the damage was minimal and we weren't seeing any fatalities or injuries at this point in time. So that is great news. Fire crews are battling this fire from both the air and the ground. And I'd like to show you the remnants here of one of the flare-ups that was going pretty strong, maybe about an hour or so ago. And it has pretty much cleared up. Just a little bit of lingering white smoke, which is really good news here. And it's also cleared out in terms of the air quality above this field. Before it was really hazy, really smoky, and now there is still that smoke and haze in the air, just not as bad as it was an hour or two ago. And also, now that we have some sunlight, we're getting some good perspective of how close areas like this field of dry brush were to homes, businesses. I mean, just the hillside up there, you can see homes were not too far away, and they're very much at risk with this fire burning through the Malibu area. And we've been watching this fire overnight when it first started. And fire crews have been working very hard. I mean, we watched a lot of them go up to individual homes with flashlights and some hoses protecting each individual building. So that is why we are hearing this morning from that press conference that there's some minimal damage, and we are waiting to learn more. I know a lot of families are anticipating and very curious to know which areas were most affected, because it is heartbreaking to know that some of these folks will return home and see some of their homes damaged or hopefully still there. So we're waiting to see more, and we're hoping for good progress. Again, the fire is 0% contained at this point in time. Guys?
Irene, thank you very much. And one other note, fire officials are asking that residents please turn off their sprinklers. That was something else that came out of the news conference that was quite significant. Meteorologist Leslie Lopez is looking ahead at the weather conditions today. Les.
Yeah, we often see people trying to turn on the sprinklers, get them going, and it ends up that the fire hydrants don't have enough pressure to get the fires put out if your house is on fire. So again, residents should heed all of those warnings by fire officials. Right now we're looking at red flag warning conditions stretching all the way through tomorrow at 6 p.m. Now, the reason why we're going to continue onward with the red flag warnings, we're going to continue with some windy weather. Yes, that'll happen all the way through this evening, although wind velocity is quieting down in this particular region. Right around 11 a.m., we're going to see about a 10-mile-per-hour drop in wind gusts, and that'll continue through this evening and then continue to decrease in wind speed through tomorrow morning. However, the big factor for keeping this red flag warning going through tomorrow at 6 p.m. will be the relative humidity levels that are down into single-digit territory. So again, that's going to be a big part of why this is going to continue forward for a protracted period of time. I wanted to also point out that right now, some of the wind speeds that we're looking at through Malibu, we're seeing 32, 36, 37. That'll be in the upper terrain. I was clocking some of the wind speeds that are happening right now through the area, and just noticing that there are a couple different meters right near the fire that's burning. And again, this is a very rugged coastal terrain, so you're going to have different peaks and different elevation heights, and that's also going to dictate how strong the wind speeds are. Again, there's very narrow wind fields through these canyons and passes, so you're going to find very different wind velocities through this particular region. Right now, we are looking at the closest meter to the fire, 5-mile-per-hour sustained winds, gusts of 14 miles per hour. That elevation about 98 feet. Now, then there's another meter right nearby, higher elevation. We know that the fire is creeping and climbing up some of that higher terrain. 4-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 10-mile-per-hour wind gusts through the area to elevation 300 feet. And then near Pepperdine University, where flames were being witnessed by students out of the window, at the height of that, right after midnight, some of those wind gusts were reaching 50 miles per hour. They dropped very quickly right after about 2, 3 o'clock this morning, right around 3:30. And now we're looking at wind speeds of 11 miles per hour at that meter, gusts of about 28 miles per hour. So the wind situation is getting better through that particular region. However, we're still going to keep winds around through tonight into tomorrow morning. But the hope is that the winds continue to stay quiet, and then hopefully this ends up being an aerial assault. But of course, that smoke that we're seeing is problematic. If they can't see where they're dropping the retardant, then it just becomes another difficult situation. All right, we're going to send it back over your way. We're going to hope for the best. And unfortunately, right now, fire continues to burn, no containment. We'll send it back over your way. John, Leslie, and Rachel.
All right, Leslie, thanks. Yeah, still a lot of work ahead. That concludes this edition of Eyewitness News. We'll have updates on the fire on social media, also our website, abc7.com. We're now going to return you to Good Morning America on television. Our coverage of the Franklin fire will continue on all of our streaming platforms.
This has been Eyewitness News with breaking news.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. And I'm Sky Rife Air 7 over the Franklin fire in Malibu. If you just joined us, this fire's consumed over 2,000 acres now. We haven't got an update on homes that have been lost. Now, we've been up since early in the morning. The fire started about 11 o'clock last night right off of Malibu Canyon Road next to Pepperdine, just north of PCH, and it moved very quickly. It had some pretty high winds. Boy, excuse me. It is so dry outside. We had some pretty high winds during the overnight hours and then into the early morning. But as of now, the winds have really calmed down quite a bit, and that is aiding firefighters. Now, the fire moved from that area to the east. It moved down towards the pier in Malibu, right along PCH. PCH has been shut down in both directions, basically out of Santa Monica all the way up into Ventura. Now, I came out of Van Nuys Airport and noticed the Ventura Freeway eastbound is so much heavier than normal. That drive out of Woodland Hills towards the 405 on the eastbound 101 is at a standstill. And the reason is right now Malibu Canyon Road is shut down, and everybody who used the 101 freeway, say out of Ventura, excuse me, not the 101, PCH out of Ventura, down into Los Angeles towards Santa Monica. You just can't do it. That's going to be shut down throughout the day and probably for several days. Now, Malibu Canyon Road is shut down as well, and there you see a helicopter. Now, the helicopters pounded this thing. They had 8 helicopters on this fire overnight and into the morning. The Chinooks especially effective. They can drop 3,000 gallons at night right on the fire itself, and they certainly saved a lot of homes. We watched them drop on fires that were right next to some of the structures, and those homes were saved. Now it's sort of a smoke event, if you will, but the good news is we've been really pushed off to the north. We're looking south. That's the northern flank or the northeastern flank of the fire right there. But the tankers are here. We've seen several tanker drops, and they drop Phosgene, which is a retardant. It's red, and it's sticky, and they drop it on the forward edge of the fire, the direction the fire is heading. And then once the fire gets to the Phosgene, it just completely stalls out. Here's a look. That's the MD-87. This is video we shot just moments ago, and it gives you an idea what they do. He'll drop it not on the fire, but on the northern edge of the fire. That might have been a high one. That might have been our first one. Marcel, looks a little too high to drop. That's video, but we may have another one for you here in just a moment where he comes by and actually makes a drop on that northern ridge line. But the tankers are here, and that's great. They come out of Fox Field. I haven't seen a V-Lot. The V-Lot is the very large air tanker, and they can drop up to 11,800 gallons. That's just unbelievable. That's what a 747 does. I think that's a P-22. It's much smaller. It's not nearly as effective, but it's easier to get back and forth. I believe the 747 has to come out of Sacramento, but we do have a couple of DC-10s out of Fox Field, and I think they're going to release them and have them here soon. So there's the Phosgene. That's the retardant that they drop, and that really is going to be so effective later into the morning and into the afternoon to stop this fire from spreading and becoming any bigger. So the fire chief talked about getting some type of containment. There's zero containment right now, but what they're going to do is they're going to work the edges of this fire, the northern edge, the eastern edge, and the western edge where we have all the heavy brush. The fire is burning south towards that area of Malibu, the city of Malibu, if you will. There's up to as many as 1,000 firefighters. They said 800, and they're adding more that are in place for structure protection, and we just don't have the high winds. If we had what was forecast, an extreme Santa Ana wind condition, we would have lost homes. I mean, dozens of homes, maybe hundreds of homes. But we just don't have that. The winds are relatively calm right now, and that is a godsend. That is the reason they're starting to think about getting some type of containment. If there was anything like the type of wind conditions that we had on November 7th, when we had the Broad fire in Malibu where we lost a couple of homes, and then we had that horrific fire that broke out up in Moore Park that really just destroyed Camarillo Heights. I think as many as 200 homes were lost there, and that was because we had an extreme Santa Ana wind event. We just didn't get it this time around, and thank goodness. That has made a huge difference. So I think with the tankers making drops, all the structure protection that they have in place, all the helicopters they have here, and the quick response that they had last night, they were ready for this because it was forecast to have these high winds. I think because of that, they're really going to be able to get some type of containment by the afternoon. And that's impressive because a lot of times in Santa Ana wind conditions, you don't see any type of containment on these fires for several days. So if they can get some type of containment on this, it is really going to be something. We hope that we get word that no no homes were lost. We do know that we saw a structure burning, but it looked like it may have been some type of container or something next to a construction site. There was a time when we could actually look down and we could see in, but towards some of those homes. But right now we cannot do that because there is so much smoke with this fire. It's just smoldering in that area. If we go to the satellite view, it'll give you a little perspective. You see that one header right there, and then you see PCH, and then as we go to satellite, push in a little bit, Marcel, that's the area where all the concern was, right down in that area, burned right down towards 1 Pacific Coast Highway, even jumped Pacific Coast Highway. There's some homes right in there that was very close to those, but I think they saved them all. This area right in here was definitely threatened. The fire came down the hill towards all those homes, but firefighters were able to save it. So we'll come back out to a live shot as wide as we can here, and it'll just give you a little perspective on how many acres are burning. More than 2,000 is the information that we have at this point in time, but the good news is it does appear they are making some effort to really make some progress on this. So it's encouraging right now because we haven't seen an increase in the winds. There was a lot of concern that at daybreak the winds may really start to howl down to this canyon. That just hasn't happened, and that has helped firefighters out immensely. We're going to keep the signal up here for some time, and we'll keep an eye on this fire for you throughout the morning. Are we doing the news cut-in? All right. Yeah, I see him. All right, copy that. We'll be ready. We'll give you 30 seconds. No, I got a clock up here. I'll make it 30. From the moment she throws it to me to the moment I get out. Okay. Yep. The tanker's coming around. Must probably be right down in there somewhere. They're right down in our window right now, yeah. That was nice. That's just crane? Oh, no, it's a black car. Yeah, remember we're streaming. Yeah, blowing a bit, yep. It's a great shot right there, though. An interesting shot right here. I don't like what I'm seeing. I see a super scooper right ahead of them. So he just made the drop, and now he's banking towards them. Interesting. I wonder about this. They usually don't do that. Okay, yeah, they told me 30 seconds. So you dropping? Nice. Nice. You can re-rack that one if you want. I only have 30 seconds though, so there probably won't be much time to do anything. 56 cut in, so we got a couple minutes. I do. They did not. Okay. Why not just keep it in place? Silly, yeah. No problem. Am I up right now? Okay. All right, copy. Okay, you got it. Understand I have 30 seconds with Leslie? Yep. Boy, that corner right there, all those helicopters look pretty cool. You see 3 of them in there? That's great. Wow. Wonder how many helicopters they have on this now. It's got to be more than 10. Look at that, one right after the next. There's another one coming up along the shoreline too. Oh, there's 2 more coming up. Oh, they are hitting that ridge line. Copy. Leslie, more than 2,000 acres, but boy, one of the reasons they've been able to stop this fire from consuming more are the helicopters. They're relentless. I think we have 10 helicopters. That's a Chinook, can drop 3,000 gallons of water. Also, we have the tankers that are up right now. So I want to give you a wide shot of the fire and give you a little perspective. It is laid down pretty nicely. The winds are not as high as had been forecast. That certainly is fantastic. Leslie, with 800 firefighters on the scene, we have not heard of any homes lost yet. That is amazing. Copy. Boy, that's a bizarre look. What's their plan for us, Michelle? Oh, here comes another couple of, the super scoopers, I think. Well, seas must be calm. Makes them a little more effective. Yeah, I agree. Boy, they're really hitting that eastern flank, huh? Well, no doubt. Everything they got. They don't want that to go to the other side of Carbon Canyon, I see. I'm surprised the tankers aren't dropping in there, though. Michelle, what's their plan for us? We still have IFB on Kinwood 1. Michelle, you with me on microwave? Oh, I'm just curious what their plan for us is, if we're still streaming, if we're staying here, what we're doing. No, they're keeping us north. They've restricted us from going any further south, so we can't really see down into the area where we think we might have lost some structures. They're not going to let us over there. At least not as long as the tankers are dropping on this northern side. But to answer your question, no, we haven't seen one structure that has been lost. We saw what appeared to be a container, maybe a little construction bin of some type on fire, but that was it. They're on the eastern flank on, where they're taking on water? Camp 8. Camp 8. I landed there once with a tail rotor chip light. Let's go back to the west. Nah, I do mean east. Been up too long. The west? The north-south corner? Okay. At Camp 8 there, you mean? We're looking. Dropping the snorkel. Be fun to fly that thing, huh? All right, well, it's further to the east, I think. Uh-huh. Follow that guy. Must be it right there. Little peak. That's what you're looking for right there? Ah, cool. Yeah, no doubt. Come on, drop the snorkel. Oh, pull out. There's going to be two of them at the same time. There you go. There's your shot. That's over here, I think, right? Yeah, it's over here.